Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Today I'm building a PC for a friend of mine. He's a content creator, he shoots videos, he edits videos, he's appeared in some of our videos as well in the past. You like that?
Bro, the grip is amazing. Like, it just hugs.
But he's got an old PC with like a 6700K and he needs an upgrade. So what we are doing today is we're building his new editing, content creation, gaming PC, the all-in-one PC. Now, I just wanted to say that a lot of the hardware is hardware that I advised on, but ultimately it's not my money to spend. I did hook him up with a whole bunch of other parts. So yeah, he basically just bought the CPU, RAM, and M.2, and I gave him everything else because he's been helping us in the background with some Gear Seeker stuff. So let's put it all together and I'll show you all the parts as we do all that. Let's do a PC build thing. But come along with me as we build it. As mentioned, I'm hooking Dylan up with a whole bunch of parts. The first thing is I'm giving him the 3090 out of our monitor testing PC because I had another 3090. I know it's a nice problem to have, but he's been doing some stuff for us. So it's like, you know what, man? I'm gonna give you a badass GPU, and 3090 is still kick-ass for everything. Also, I'm giving him some of these Infinity Uni fans. I've got so many of these at the moment, so we're just gonna fill up the whole PC with Infinity Uni fans. Now, when we did our Fractal North build, when that came out, I used these black and gold cable extensions from Cable Mod. I have like every combination of this set of cables in gold and black. So I decided because we're using the Fractal North, I'd give him my set of cables because I don't really need them, right? What's the point in holding on to stuff if you're just never going to need them or use them? Next up is this brand new Fractal Lumen S24 RGB cooler. Brand new. It's been sitting on the shelf for a while, never been used. And I was like, you know what? That's enough to cool the CPU that we're using in this system. And lastly, this ROG Strix 850 watt power supply. Just a power supply we had laying around and, you know, free power supply. Who can complain? As mentioned, I'm hooking up Dylan with the Fractal North. This is my personal one. I ended up getting another one anyway, so that's all good. I got the mesh side panel one now, which is very cool. And I also am hooking up with this, the X670 Aorus Elite AX, because when he was looking at building a new PC, he sent me a parts list and this was the motherboard on his parts list. And I was like, hey dude, I've got that. I'll just give it to you. It's fine, it's all good. Now, for the parts that Dylan bought and chose, he went with the Samsung 980 Pro, a 2 terabyte version with the heatsink. I don't know if we're gonna pull the heatsink off this or not. I think we'll just leave it as it is. 64 gigs of G.Skill Triton Z Neo. I think this is 6,000 mega transfers. This is a pretty beefy kit because we're using the Ryzen 7 7700X. This is a CPU that was in his budget for this build. I did kind of recommend the 7900X, but it was just outside of the budget because if anything, the CPU cores are fast. It's more than good enough for video editing and gaming, and wanted to put that extra budget towards memory because when you're video editing, RAM is your best friend and 64 gigs is going to do chef's kiss. Look at this, fresh RAM. Ooh, this is actually really satisfying for me because it's like I'm building a new PC for myself, but it's not for me at all. Look at that, freshies, Claire. Fresh sticks of RAM. I still think it's funny that they have the stickers. Who's putting these on their computers these days? In the early 2000s, it was cool to have your shopping list on your computer, but now I don't think people do that anymore for aesthetic reasons. Is it new? I don't know, let's throw that on the floor. I don't know. Have I opened this before? Probably. Socketing the CPU. Always best practice to take your time with this if you've never done it before. I'm gonna go a bit slow. I'm a little bit shaky today because of life. The way you would orient this with Ryzen stuff, and this is what I said when we did the Intel stuff, is now the text is towards you. And like Intel CPUs, just make sure that it's in there. Give it a little wiggle because it is an LGA socket now. See the two arrows, they're like facing each other. Close the socket. The AMD one's cool. Are you ready for this, Claire? You ready? Watch how, let's see how high it launches. So much cooler. Putting this in on an angle is good to orient it the correct way and also check that it's in the right way, if that makes sense. I basically just repeated whatever I just said, and you push on both ends with a bit of pressure so both clips lock up. Gigabyte boards typically have clips on both ends. Apply pressure to both ends of the slot and I mean, you actually need to apply the pressure to both sides. M.2 time, we're not going to use the stock heatsink here. We're gonna leave the heatsink on the Samsung 980 Pro with heatsink. It's funny because when it detects, it says with heatsink. M.2s are easy now. They've got these little clips to hold drives into slots. We'll just drop this in like a little baby and we'll push the clip. That's it. Oh yeah, like the blueberry.
Like a blueberry.
Yeah, what was her name? Violet Beauregard? Was that her name? I don't know. I think that was her name. I don't know. I'm probably wrong, but I'm great. Look how big and grippy I can be. The Fractal North, N-O-R-F, the Fractal North. Look at us go. Look at us, the dynamic duo. Computers.
You're purple.
Here you go. Here's a panel. Would you like a panel? I'm purple. Am I still purple? Is that offensive? Purple. I don't give a shit. Claire wants to punch me in. Punch me in. I don't like these glass panels, the ones that don't have a full frame around them. They look cool, but they're very spoopy. Claire Cole's first day at using a camera filming. It's just like, why do I have to be so far back? You zoomed in all the way.
Pick on me, I'm having a bad day.
I love you, it's okay. We'll let you have a bad day. Look at this, I love this wood panel. People are like, it's for old people. No, it's for grown-ups. It's a computer case for grown-ups. Ooh, look at it.
Why do you have it then?
It's not for me.
Oh, okay.
Why the fuck would I have this? I'm not grown up. Fuck that. When I build with cases and do reviews, I hardly ever pull out the stock thing with all the screws and stuff in it. It's still in here.
You're lazy.
No, you just can't see it. What's the point? If you can't see it, is anybody going to know? Nobody knows.
I know.
You know.
Because I'm the one that puts away the cases.
Sometimes.
Can't.
You can. Here's what we're going to do. All right, here's what we're going to do.
Oh,
Here's what we're going to do.
don't come near me.
I'm going to take over filming now. Because Claire's never done it before and it's her first day on the job.
Hey!
Not really.
Never used the
But
camera.
I will take over filming with the best camera operator of all time.
I don't know what you're about to do and I don't like it.
It's the best camera operator I've ever met. Sir Tripoddy. To your right, governor.
You're right, chuck a ship on the
People
barbie.
think that this, you know, the Simpsons episode where like it's the Australian one with like the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister. They think that's an Australian accent, but the truth is it's
Not.
the voice cast of the Simpsons doing terrible Australian accents.
It's still funny though.
Yeah.
Too right, Nick, too right.
Mr. Prime Minister. Before I make this too difficult for myself, I should install the front fans. We're using 140mm SL Infinity uni fans for the front, and I'm going to be putting them right about here. Now we can start with the fun stuff. Let's get this motherboard in here. This has got a center peg like other cases that we build with on the channel as well. So when we put the board in, it should, with a little bit of luck, just sit in and not fall out. Yay for us. How fun is that? And then we'll just fasten up all the screws. There's 8 screws to do. 8 screws to do. That sounds stupid. I'll never speak again. We'll put the rear 120mm fan in now. The build that I did initially in this, I didn't use an AIO. I built it with an air cooler. So this is the first time I'm building in the North with an AIO. I've got another North build coming soon as well. We're gonna do something very, very cool with that. Time to load in the power supply. I like when power supplies have the rear bracket. It makes it so much easier when building because you can feed all the cables in this way. You just get them in there, jam it in, get it all to fit, force it if you have to, but only with consent. Beauty, you absolute beauty. And you load it in, screw it in tight. Again, make sure you ask consent. 2 screws Makes my life easier. One more screw and I've got one loose. Oftentimes when I'm installing an AIO, what you don't see is I'll plug in all the cables that are required beforehand, so I don't need to pull the cooler back out to route the cables through. We'll put it like this for now. We'll just have it loose. This cooler's got pre-applied thermal paste. It uses the AM4/AM5 mechanism where the cooler clips onto the factory retention system, and we'll just make sure that cable's not sitting under the cold plate. Seems to be mounted nicely. Cooler mounted. All right, in goes the 3090. Here we go. We're getting very close. This is very exciting. This is one of the only 3090s you'll find around the place that has 2 8-pin power connectors, not 3. Oh, it's gonna look so sweet. Cable managed this up nicely, and it's gonna look amazing. I'll probably put a GPU support bracket in there somewhere as well, just to hold it up a bit. Maybe it won't need it, but we'll probably just do that another time. Don't excite me with random cat things if there's no cat. That's illegal. I can already hear the comment section. I don't even need to read it. I can hear people staring at their screens going, it's so bad, but it's fine. It's practical. There's a couple little provisions I made as well. Dylan has some SATA SSDs, and I didn't plug in the SATA cables for the purposes of, I didn't really feel like doing it. He knows how to build PCs and stuff anyway, but I put some SATA power down here, so if he wants to fill these 2 bays up with drives, he will be good to go. The front drive bay for 3.5-inch drives is also accessible, and yeah, I added some additional power and all that for power. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the build so far. I haven't even turned it on yet, but I'm sure it's all good. It looks pretty sweet. Yep, it looks good. I'm really happy with it. I did my best job of hiding all of the cables. You can only see, obviously you can see like cable extensions and stuff that I use, but all the other cables, almost none of it is visible. And that's the way I like my PCs, and I hope Dylan likes his PC like this as well. With all that, let's cross our fingers that this thing powers up and all the panels fit. Do you want to help?
I'm kind of holding something right now.
Oh, your hand's a bit full, are they?
Yeah, they're a bit busy.
Yeah, I get it, I get it. All right, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the build in the Fractal North. I decided not to do a PC reveal with Dylan because I felt like it would be fun for him to see it at the exact time as you guys see it. The PC's done, it's all up and running, and he doesn't have it. And yeah, I just thought that would just be a fun way of revealing the PC to you and to him and to everyone. Now, what I'll do is I'll put a PC part picker list down below in the description if you want to see all the hardware that I used in this PC, but that list will just be there just in case you missed something and you want to build something like this for yourself. This thing looks so good. The Fractal North is a case for grown-ups, and every time I look at it, I see something new and it just looks so cool. It is definitely one of the best looking cases that's ever been released. I know it might not show that on video, but when it just sits next to you and you look at it, you're like, wow, it's a work of art. So kudos to Fractal. You guys have been killing it with cases. I love the North. I really, really love this case. I'm very tempted to build one of my own PCs in it. I'm not even really into the whole wood grain aesthetic, but it just looks so sick. So that's gonna do it, ladies and gents. If you like the music you heard here, I make all the music. It's available by clicking that join button right down there, down below. Please subscribe. I appreciate you all very much. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peak, we seek. This thing is gorgeous. Also, just another thing, people always ask for the RGB color codes for the builds and stuff that we do, especially with the original North review we did like the gold color. This is using a similar color. I just play around with it until it looks right. The way I did this one is I went to orange and then I kind of pulled it back to white from orange, and then it looks like someone pissed inside the case. Well, all right guys, thanks for watching. I think Dylan's actually going to go white with the aesthetic that he wants for this. He doesn't even know what fans I used, so, I mean, he does now, but he didn't when I'm filming this because the video's not out. Wow. Again, YouTube time machine, very confusing. Catch you next time. That was a really awkward thumbs up. I don't know why I did that.